As the environment minister witnessed the effects of climate change on Quebec's eroding coastline, she was forced to defend her government's decision to relax its carbon tax.
We have to do it in a smart way. I've always said the environment and the economy go together, and we don't want to drive industry out of our country. We want to have the most energy efficient, smart industries here that create good jobs.
The easing off comes after months of lobbying from big industry. They argued to stay competitive with companies south of the border, they needed a break from the looming carbon tax. Ottawa listened. The federal government had initially set a line for a given industry's average emissions. That line stays the same. But in the previous plan, companies could carry on as normal until they hit the 70% mark, after which they would have to start paying a tax, starting at $20 a ton. Now that limit has been moved up to 80% and even 90% for more vulnerable industries. The minister says being flexible was always the plan, but for climate change activists today, a wave of disappointment at perceived inaction.
Industry is saying don't go too fast. Well, I think the summer heat waves, the forest fires, the rising seas, the stronger storms are telling us we need to go faster.
The calculations may have changed, but the politics behind a carbon tax have not. Ottawa versus Ontario and Saskatchewan. 2 weeks ago, Ontario's new premier jumped into the fight against carbon pricing.
It's a bad tax for families, and it's a bad tax for businesses.
Both provinces see today's decision as progress. Still, they're not backing down.
We don't think any kind of carbon tax is helpful in terms of the economy right now, in terms of businesses right now, and so we are still going to be fighting to remove the carbon tax completely.
The battle lines are drawn as the carbon tax is set to come into effect early next year for those provinces that don't already have an adequate plan in place to tackle emissions. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.